Home? No, hold on. Let me pause this. Hey, y'all. I had to hop on here quick because hopefully you can hear me. Because I don't have the headphones, both of them on my ears. Because I don't like that feeling of like being in a vacuum, like that feeling. So I have to do it like this. But so hopefully I ain't messing up the audio. Hey, but I had a quick download. That looks so funny. As I was baking a sweet potato. Or not, yeah. Just microwaving it real quick. And here's the download. I said, somebody else probably need to hear this. Because he was kind of speaking to me. It came through for me, but I know this was somebody else too. Hey, if you somebody on a spiritual journey, oh, here, this is what I heard. First of all, this is what I heard. You got to meet people where they at. You got to meet people where they at. That's what I heard. Meet people where they're at. And then I thought, okay, what is this about? And then this is what he put on my heart. He was like, man, I can't even take myself serious with these headphones like this. No, this is what he put on my heart. He said, meet people where they at. He said, specifically, if you somebody on your spiritual journey and you had your awakening, once that happens and you really start doing that introspection, reflection, and healing and starting to see things more clearly about understanding life, who you are, your position, your role. I mean, I don't know what you're here to be doing, the purpose of life, the matrix, all these kind of things. You start to get more clarity on this kind of stuff. And essentially, letting go of outdated beliefs and stuff like that, your vibration start to rise. You start to shift and evolve in the way you think. Now, they don't make you better or worse than nobody. It's just a natural evolution is what it's all about. That's what it's always been about. You remember hearing that from science and way back in the day. Evolution. On a spiritually, our energy, we just supposed to be down here to evolve. That's what happens especially when you're a human being and you have an awakening. But he said you got to meet people where they're at. Because this is what he brought to mind. Sometimes as your vibration rise, sometimes it is, you can sometimes be like, not judgmental, but as you start to heal and reverse engineer some of the ways that you think and perceive reality and your self-perception and try to release, some major toxicities or whatever it is, or however you used to show up that you may have been unconscious of. Sometimes you can then look at someone who hasn't had an awakening and not be judgmental of them, but you can be like confused. Like, why do you want to stay like that? Like, you don't want to wake, like you don't want to see nothing from a different perspective. So you like being low vibrational, you tend to start to think like that. Like, wow, this person's mindset or, so-and-so or, my boy, like, when you have your awakening, you almost cannot really understand how someone else cannot want to wake up, right? But this is what he put on my heart. He said sometimes when you have your awakening, the reason you sometimes find yourself in the midst of unawakened people or less evolved people, it ain't got nothing to do with them at all. Literally, this is what I heard. He said, it ain't got nothing to do with them. It's always been about something you were supposed to learn from that. He said, what he be trying to make you see as you go on your healing journey and you awaken and become even more conscious, even if you're around people who are a little more low vibrational, meaning they're just trapped in the matrix in terms of their perspective. They still kind of living in that mental prison and don't know it. They haven't had their awakening yet. They don't make them bad people at all. But he put this on my heart. He said the whole idea is that one thing, and he showed me this. He said the one lesson he wanted you to be able to perceive when you come in the company of somebody who hasn't had their awakening is to be able to discern your energy. Because so sometimes once you have your awakening and really start healing and your perception start to shift. Sometimes if you be in the midst of somebody who hasn't awakened or a little more lower vibrational, you literally, I don't know what it is about the healing journey or what happens, but you become sensitive to your environment's energy, right? He said, but it never really been about you. It was always about as your vibration, your frequency starts to raise, I want you to be more discerning of what is your energy. Know your energy. So even if you do get some kind of a weird feeling and you cannot recall the source of this, why are you feeling like this in your body, or why are you thinking these thoughts, or why are you feeling like this? The whole idea is that it's supposed to be almost like an exercise in developing you in terms of knowing your energy, where your energy stops and where somebody else's energy begins. And sometimes like emotional contagion, that kind of thing. And that's real. So sometimes if you start to heal and your frequency rise, you become more sensitive to the energies in your environment, period. I don't care if you're in a grocery store or wherever. But the whole goal of that, he said, it's never really been about being judgmental towards the space or the location or whoever you interacting with that might be a little more low vibrational. It ain't about judging them why they don't want to wake up, why they don't, you mean you want to stay like that? You want to be toxic? No. He said it's never been about that. It's about meeting people where they are and getting to a point where you can understand where your energy ends and where somebody else's energy begins, and know when something's being projected onto you, even if it's unconsciously, unintentionally. As you heal, he wants you to be more aware that you become more sensitive. You become like a sponge. You do. And it ain't nothing that's good or bad on either end for you or the person. That's just the reality of what it is. You become more psychically, energetically sensitive to your environment, period. And he said, so the lesson in that, it never had to do with you becoming a spiritual snob. It ain't even about that. It's just about understanding your energy. So that's why, like when Kevin Gates say, protecting your energy is not a crime. It's not a crime, but it's about being discerning and understanding what your energy even is, and know how you feel at your baseline. What is you? If you typically are more upbeat or neutral, person, but then all of a sudden you go to this specific, shopping mall, and then you start feeling all shitty. Well, it's something in that energy. There's something in that energy that you absorbing in some kind of way. I don't know quite how to explain it. I'm not a damn scientist, but spiritually, I understand it. He said, but the whole reason that sometimes that happens, or he'll put you in the midst of that, or in an environment like that, is just to teach lessons to you, or to help you become more discerning and self-aware of your energy. Your energy. How do you typically feel on a good day? When you alone, how do you feel in your body? How do you feel? How do you think when you by yourself? So now if you go out into the world and start, what is the word? What that girl say? She said, because what she said is one lady, she alone. She said, sometimes I don't like to human, like being a human, like human and getting out there in the world in the wild. Sometimes you get out there and your energy will shift. But the whole idea is that for you to get more clear on what your baseline energy is. So sometimes if something come across you and you start feeling a little odd, a little weird, a little more, doubtful, fearful, pessimistic, it could be anything. It's just to understand that sometimes those can be things that's deep down in your shadow that's popping up to the surface for you to look at and address and understand, get to the root of, or whatever, heal. But sometimes if you get engrossed with that type of feeling in your vessel, in your body, or in your mind, them kind of thoughts, and you cannot pinpoint the source, in terms of something that you have done on your own, or something that you thought about or on your own that would make that be how you started to feel, then sometimes you picking up on something, because as you heal, especially when you have your awakening, you do become more energetically sensitive. So he said that's the goal. It was never it ain't got nothing to do about you trying to be mad at who ain't awakened or who low vibrational. It ain't got nothing to do with that. And this is why he said it's important to realize this, because before I had my spiritual awakening, and I was working in the hospital as a nurse, y'all got excuse me. Man, this came through. I was munching on my sweet potato. What are you at back there trying to eat? And this came through. But when I was a nurse in the hospital, I used to work third shift. It was this male damn nurse. And this was this was about 10 years ago. This male nurse was definitely, he was woke. He was definitely woke. He had a spiritual awakening. He didn't have the terminology. He didn't explain it like that. But this man was woke. He was woke. And he was woke amongst a whole bunch of nurses who was not woke. We was in the matrix, which was fine. We weren't less than him. It wasn't about that. But you can tell he was different in the way he talked. His perception, his self-perception worldview was different. And all of us used to think this man was so damn weird. We used to be like, what is he talking about? And why is he... so it'd be like to an awakened person, and when you're talking to somebody who's not awakened, or a higher vibrational person's in a company of somebody who kind of operate on that lower vibrational level, it's like you be speaking a foreign language sometimes. And he brought that to my mind when I was not awakened, but I was in a company of an awakened nurse, this male nurse. He was excellent. He was friendly, but nobody understood him. We was like, what is wrong? He's a little weird. He nice. He's harmless, but something's not. But no, that's because he was woke and everybody else, including me, was asleep. And at the time, we didn't know what the hell was wrong with him, other than, hey, he was a good-ass nurse. He was intuitive as fuck. His patients didn't die. I tell you that much. And he'll help you let a cold pop off. That man knew. He knew. Because he had his spidey senses. When you have your awakening, and your spidey senses be popping, so you don't be missing a beat. So that was a gift and blessing of that. But other than that, we could not understand what he was talking about. Sometimes when he wouldn't be talking about you know, an admission's coming. You got an admission is coming into this room. Let me know. Put the crash cart outside the door. This person might be high risk for having a cold. Blah blah. Like coming from the ER. But you know what I mean? Like until if it wasn't conversation like that, when he would veer off on talking about, you know, just not necessarily. I can't even recall the words because I just couldn't even understand it. When it wasn't about nursing, I used to just be like, "What is he talking about?" And I imagine he might have been talking about energy and vibration and this kind of stuff. But at the time, from my perspective, at the time, I was not awakened. It just didn't make any sense. So he said the whole idea, don't be no spiritual snob. Be mindful of that. Because at one point, people who are awakened, if you come across this, at one point you were not awakened. You were low vibrational too. And so don't be trying to act like, The whole idea, the whole goal is that is sometimes he'll put you in the midst of people who are not awakened so you can become more stronger and discerning in terms of what is your energy. What's your energy? Because the more you heal and your vibration raise, you become like a spiritual sponge, which is a gift, but sometimes it's not. Because if you know what I mean, it's an unspoken thing. It's an energy thing. That shit be getting projected onto you. And you will pick it up and be thinking it's something that you doing or something that, how am I thinking? And it can send you down a spiral of being somebody who's trapped in your head thinking that you perpetually need to be doing shadow work when sometimes it might be just your environment and energy is being projected onto you that you're not, and you don't have that's why they say protect your energy. No, have a shield, protect your space. If you need to go outside and ground, go outside and get in some fresh air, put your feet on some ground or something so you can recenter, take a cold shower, whatever you got to do to get out of your head. Because if you out in the world or in the wild and this 80% of the people are in the matrix, overthinking, pessimistic, worry, and you had your awakening, and even if your life isn't perfect, you tend not to operate like that. Well, you gonna be dominated by that type of energy. So of course you might start to be like oddly being like in your head and just overthinking and being like the majority of the energy that's around and you're in the wild of wherever you at. So he said, but the goal of that is so that you can become more clear of what is your energy. When you are centered and in the present moment and doing your breath work or whatever it is, how do you feel then? Are you in your head monkey minding or not? And if you're not, then it's for you to be able to know that. Well, that means more than likely you are picking up on something. But it ain't got nothing to do with you being mad or hating somebody or thinking that, hey, because that's something that you can't control. People other than yourself, other people's spiritual awakening or their evolution in consciousness or any of that, that's something that you cannot control. People wake up when they do. And I mean, the only other thing he just said is just to be mindful that if in a person's lower vibrational state, if they're so unconscious that they're doing things to hurt you, then you have to distance yourself and deal with them from a long handle spoon until they become more self-aware. And that's all that is. It's also that he said to be able to be cognizant of when you need to place boundaries, because sometimes people can be so unconscious that they live through their ego identity and they be doing shit left and right that be just totally not okay. And that's because they are unconscious, or they be half and half and be manipulative and slick or whatever it is. But if somebody is toxic in that manner and you are awakened and they doing something to really try to that's hurting you, whether they're aware of it or not, if you're aware of it, then that means you have to distance your energy. And sometimes that might even mean cut off. Because you're not here to, even if you awaken and trying to be a more evolved, nice person, you're not here to be nobody's punching bag. You're not here to be an emotional garbage dumpster for somebody just because they might not be awakened or they might not be as self-aware. No, it's not about that. You ain't no sacrificial lamb like that. No. But he said it was always just a game of becoming more discerning about what is your energy, being sure you have healthy boundaries. And if you know how you usually feel and what your baseline is, then you know when there's something being projected onto you that you're picking up on. And he wants you to be clear of that so that you won't fall into them cycles of thinking that you need to literally be going in hermit mode for 10 years of your life and be perpetually doing this shadow work. Because that's a whole trick right there. Nah, you ain't supposed to constantly be doing shadow work. No, it might be a situation where, hey, if I know my baseline, then maybe this is a sign that actually I might need to relocate or something like that. Or implement healthier boundaries because something is seeping in here and I ain't with it. And that's why them little prayers like, hey, I'm calling back all my energy, return back to sender. It ain't nothing negative or demonic about it at all. It's just you talking to your own subconscious of like what I'm going to accept into me and take on and what I'm not. And if it's something toxic that belongs to somebody else, yeah, send that shit back to whoever's spinning, whoever's spewing it out or whatever. And that's the whole idea. He just wants you to be self-aware in that manner. So, but he said, don't be judging nobody, like in terms of that. Don't be judging nobody, and don't be mad about somebody who not awakened just because you are, because you know you was not always awakened. So don't be no spiritual snob. And I just was hearing that, meet people where they're at. Meet people where they're at. And that's why you got to be like water, know how to flow. And have that little bit of communication gift to know what you're dealing with. Like, what are you dealing with? If you are awakened and you know you understand a little bit more, hey, if you're dealing with somebody who's not spiritual like that or not really that awakened, you ain't got no business really coming at them talking about my crown chakra. Hey, they finna be like, bruh. Because I know I was like that when that nurse was talking to me. I'm like, huh? So you have to know who you're talking with and know when you need to code switch. In other words, not that you're being fake, but you need to be able to meet people where they at. Especially if you're going to interact with them. Otherwise, you're going to be feeling like, damn, I can't. I think that's sometimes what triggered that whole isolation phase. And you be feeling like, oh, I'm so misunderstood. No, you just probably a little above, before your time or ahead of your time. And it's people that's around you that ain't caught up to where you at in terms of the awakening process. And so you got to know how to shift and just be like water and figure out how, not to be fake, but just, do what you got to do to be able to interact with somebody. And because you're not going to always, the world is not full of all awakened people. So that was all. He put it on my heart right now. I was about to eat this thing. And I said, let me get this out because I know what he's talking about. Because sometimes I even feel it in my spirit. Like I be feeling like frustrated, like, damn, like, so you watch TV or whatever, you're like, damn, so people just want to stay toxic. Like they just want to be toxic. Like you just want to be like that. Like, damn. Or you like being like, but they just unconscious. They ain't had no awakening. So they're not even self-aware. They living through their ego personality. They're not connected with their spiritual self at that level like that, where they be trying to operate from that conscious. They like trying to be intentional and operate from a conscious perspective. No, that ego they be getting triggered left and right because they have not healed enough stuff. So yeah, they be getting triggered and be doing stupid shit and be hurting folks and doing all type of stuff. But it's because they're unconscious and they got wounds they ain't healed, and ain't looked at yet. So that's why they be acting like that. But other than that, he just said, just have healthy boundaries. And if it's too toxic, if somebody's too unconscious and are that not self-aware, then that means sometimes you got to like separate yourself, even if it's family, you have to do that. You have to protect yourself because you become so energetically sensitive. If you ignore that and what you feeling and how it's impacting you and throwing your energy out of whack, that can make you sick. That can literally make you sick because it's creating too much dissonance and like it's throwing you out of homeostasis too much. If what you're doing or who you're around or where you work at, if the energy is, the vibration is too low, where you like almost overpowered with that toxicity energy, and it's throwing and it's shifting you where you constantly transmuting and alchemizing energy left and right because it's just you just smothered by it. Nah, you got to bounce. And sometimes it'd be hard to do, make the move, and that's why sometimes when you look up and it'd be like, well, damn, why did they fire me for no reason? Or like, why did so-and-so just move out of state? I don't know. That's because God, sometimes he'll save you from yourself. So it'll be looking like devastation, but no, he'll be probably trying to relocate you and move you into a space or a place where you are a better energetic match. Because that mismatch in energy and frequency like that, eventually that can wear and tear on your physical vessel. Because it'd be having you just misalign and shit, and you'd be constantly absorbing that. So anyway, that's all. I had to get that out, y'all. So I love y'all. I hope this helps somebody because it sure helped me when he brought it to my mind. Like, I totally remember that male nurse was so damn woke. He was smart as shit. Hey, but we wasn't seeing that. We thought dude was like a weirdo ass, good ass, an excellent weirdo ass nurse. That's what we thought. But now it's like, no, I get it. And he made me go back to that. So don't be no spiritual snob and meet people where they at. And if it's too much of a disconnect where you like what they say, two ships passing in the night in terms of any conversation or perspective or any common ground you can come to, then sometimes that means it's time to transition. And sometimes God will make it happen. So just trust the process. Okay, I love you. I'm gonna go for my potato get cold, but I might come back. I just had to get that out because I hope that helps somebody. Okay, bye.